Good day, everyone, and I'm here with my colleague, my friend, Catherine Paquet. And she is a CCSI, Certified Cisco System Instructor, and she is also a security lecturer, Cisco press author, and a network consultant. All right. Next, let's talk about certifications. I see you have a very impressive resume. You have a lot of credentials, also list of certifications, and of course, author portfolio. Very impressive. Wonder how much time you gave to achieve all of these. And not only that, are you still open learning new things? Like after everything, okay? More certifications, more technologies to learn.
Very good question. So for your first question about how long does it take? So a little parenthesis again here. As a certified instructor, you know that for us to teach a new class, we need to attend the class and pass the exam.
And
exactly.
that a lot of people don't know that. They are asking, how did you get all of those certifications? Well, because we are required, right?
Yeah, you have to take the exam.
Yes.
But I always envied my male colleagues that, because I don't know any of my female colleagues that do that, but I know a few male colleagues that take a class and on maybe back in the old days, I don't think nowadays you can do that, but you probably remember, or maybe you're too young, the way exams were like 20 years ago. They were easier than they are now. And so you could take the class Monday to Friday. Class finishes at 4 p.m. on Friday, and I have male colleagues at 5 p.m. that Friday they would walk into a testing center and take the exam, and even be ready to teach the class on the Monday. And I was always two sides of me. One was in admiration with their mental capacity, and the other was afraid. Say, there's no way I would like to take that exam from that instructor next Monday because that instructor just finished doing the class. So coming back to how long does it take for me? So there's I would say I'm a student, I'm a learner, and then I become an instructor. So for any class I teach. So when I'm taking the class, then I'm like, I close my email. I'm totally dedicated to taking that class. I never skip labs. And the first time I do the lab to the letter. I really follows all the steps. So then when I become a learner, I usually budget about 40 hours of studies per 1 week class. That was true. That was a ratio I was using actually going back 15 years ago. That ratio has increased. The ratio now for me, and again, I'm a little bit of a slow learner. When I learn something, it's perfect, but I have dyslexia, so I'm a slow learner. I need to practice a lot. So to me now, the ratio is probably 60 to 80 hours per exam if I want to succeed at that exam. Also, I try to do a lot of lab online. I'm fortunate that being a Cisco instructor and a Cisco press author, I have access to level 3 on the D Cloud. For anybody listening to us, actually, if you have a good contact with your Cisco channel partner and you're looking at buying a technology or you want to test a technology, check with your Cisco channel partner if they can give you a couple of hours on what we call the D Cloud. D Cloud stands for the demo cloud that Cisco has, and they do have actually labs. The equipment is there, but you have to configure it to make it work. That takes a little bit more time. There's other that they call instant demo. So they already have a Cisco ICE already all built up. You cannot go and change the configuration, but very often just to learn to navigate, Firepower or Cisco ICE, it's good just to have access to that instant demo. So to this day, again, I spend a lot of lab time, and you know that actually when an instructor asks me a tough question, another instructor, something they can, I say, okay, I'll saddle a lab, so I spin up a lab and I practice. So it's a lot of hours. Now, here's a trick. Once you have your CCNA, don't let it expire. And once you have your CCNP, don't let it expire. Because to get to the level of like, if I were right now, if I had to start from scratch, let's say my CCNP security, I think I would be discouraged. There's so much to learn just for security core,
Right.
and
Yeah,
then
the
after
S
the
course, too many
specialty.
technologies, too many platforms to learn. Yeah.
Exactly, so many platforms to learn. So here's a couple of tricks. First, don't let expire. Now, how do you not let your certification expire? Depending on your certification, it's 2 to 3 years, and Cisco sometimes changes the rules. So they'll send you emails starting 1 year before it expires, and then 6 months and 3 months. So Cisco will send you. So make sure that you log on your CCO account and that your email is updated there, because that's how Cisco will come back to you and say your certification is about to expire. They're giving you they're sending you the first email 1 year before your certification expires. So one of the trick you can use, like us instructors, we're fortunate because we always have to pick up new course. So because we're picking up new course, new material, new technologies, every year, every 6 months, we have to take a new exam. But if I were no longer an instructor, what I would do is that the moment I get that email that in 1 year, my certification is about to expire, if I'm really, really keen and I still love learning new stuff, I would probably pick a new course that just came out, that if I pass the exam for that new course, will automatically reset the
Renew.
date on my certification.
Yeah. Renew and
That would
recertify
be an
other
easier.
certifications. Yeah.
Exactly. And then I'll be gone, and I've learned a new technology.
Mm.
If my interest has moved to something else and I'm not interested of spending 80 hours learning a new material, I would probably look at all the exams. So for CCNP security, I would look at all the exams that qualify for CCNP security and which of those is the easiest for me to pass. So for me, it would probably be ICE or firepower. It would not be umbrella. It would not be maybe email security. Anyway, I would pick the easiest one in the list, the one that I think I just need to invest maybe 10, 20 hours to pass that exam. So
Something that you
even if
already
you
know.
exactly something you already know, an exam that you have already written, but probably the previous generation, or maybe you wrote it like 3 years ago, and the exam has just changed a little bit, not that much, but you know already that technology. So you just have a minimum amount of time to invest to recertify and keep your CCNP. So I would say, like, don't let it go, because you let anybody first go and get it, because the if you look at the salary scale from not having certification to CCNA to CCNP to CCIE, it's worth it. It's a very good return on investment. We were talking about return on investment earlier. Excellent return on investment. It also, to me, proved the dedication, because you have to invest time and energy. It proves also that you're not only dedication, but you're interested in progressing in life. So you continue progressing by learning something else. But don't let it expire. Just go with the low hanging fruit, pass that exam, and it resets the date for another 2 or 3 years.
Not only that, you will be able to collect multiple certifications. Those certifications, if you have 10, 20, all of those will be renewed by passing one exam. Right?
Exactly, which still baffles me though. Like, I'm certified for all those networking and switching certification. Just by passing one security exam, automatically my certification, CCNP networking, which was renamed. What was it renamed to?
Enterprise.
Enterprise. Thank you.
Yeah.
I just do security now. But anyway, so my enterprise gets renewed automatically just by the mere fact of being but by doing one of the exam that happens to, it resets the date on all my other certification, including the CCNA also.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So any plans for new technologies, learning new technologies, new certifications?
In my boat, that's interesting. So the two super specialty I have, so I would call that, because security in itself is a specialty, and I would say that I have a super specialty in firewalling, firepower, and in ICE. So those two product, and especially ICE, it's a beast. ICE is a complete beast. So just to keep up with ICE and with
Firepower.
firepower, but especially ICE, it right now with the lifestyle I wish to have, and I'm close to retirement, so that to me is enough. Obviously, I'm touching and I'm reading, and I'll do lab. Also, I've done lab on Umbrella, and I've done lab on Stealth Watch. So of course I'm dabbling in other technologies, but I'm not picking up any other certification or interest of starting to teach any new class, simply because ICE itself is growing so much. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've seen that. I was a second instructor to be certified in North America with ICE. So I remember ICE 1.0, and
That was
the way
2011,
it
right? Or 2012?
2011, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah, so
2011.
I came out in 2011, and I think I got my certification at beginning of either at the end of 2011 or beginning of 2012. And as you know, that became my baby, because we were actually only 2 instructors in North America. Eventually we became 3, but we were so busy. So I've just like put a lot of effort in that. And but the same thing happened when Firepower came out. I was doing a lot of ASA, and they said, well, there's that new firewall, you will pick it up. So then I started, and then I started dropping actually ASA and just focusing on Firepower. So Firepower is progressing. The rate of change is not, it is rapid, but I would say probably not quite as rapid as ICE. ICE is just mind-boggling. The
Yeah.
number, every time there's a new version of ICE, what you can do with it. So that's a long answer. Is the new technologies I'm picking are within the 2 super specialty I already have.
Yeah. We have in common, I'm one
Yes.
of the first ICE instructor in Asia Pacific. That was early 2012. And I was also one of the first firepower instructor. Yeah, that's why we talk a lot about firepower and Cisco ICE.
We have to
Yeah.
be a little bit kamikaze though, because we had being the first one in those 2 field was not quite easy. So again, I tip my hat to
Awesome.
you,
Yeah,
Mr. Dean.
thank you, thank you. Well, I asked more questions than you. That's why your knowledge is way above than what I have.
I think I was just again, sometimes you get something you say, no, I don't want to do that, but at the end it's good. Like to give you an example, when which is actually I believe 12. Anyway, they decided that they wanted to change their firewall from whatever they had to firepower. And back then we were doing, do you remember, we were doing those test drive. So I
Right.
was conducting the test drive all around North America, and the guy from Boston sat my test drive. So the 2 guys from Boston, and they went back to, hey, we're changing all our firewall. We'll need some training and consulting also. So we need to go back to Firefly and hire this lady. And I had to customize a course, and they were very precise and very, very thorough in what they needed. So they gave me 8 weeks to actually customize a course, and make the slides for them and play on their equipment. And I was telling other people at Firefly, that during that 8 weeks, I learned more than my previous 4 years of playing with
Really?
firepower. Because the questions were so wacky, the question that the students, that
Too
the
detailed, huh?
prospective
Too
client was
advanced.
giving me. Yeah, so that's where we learn, we learn a lot. Mhm.
All right. Okay, so cut. So this will be the last set of questions. So this is
Okay,
more of girl in tech related questions and inspirational. Okay, so this is the
perfect.
last one.
Okay,
Are you still okay?
I'm good.
All right. All right. So having all of these career, this profile, um, we have a military background. You learn all of these technologies way back in the 80s, in the 90s. I'm just curious. are guys intimidated about you or intimidated on you? Let's say back 20, 25 years ago. Because
Well,
if I met you like those days, maybe I would be intimidated on you.
I don't know if I was intimidating to guys. I was very fortunate that I happened to meet my husband, my now husband for 35 years. Can you believe it? Who is my best friend? But I had a chance to marry him or to meet him when I was 22 and he was 30. So he had already two masters. I had just finished my bachelor degree. He was training to do the cross-country ski marathon in Canada, 180 kilometers in 2 days. I was running at the provincial level, but he was already, so he was always like a notch above me.
A little
So I
above you.
was,
So
yeah, it
there's
was
no
always a
way he
notch,
will
and
intimidate will be intimidated to you.
Exactly. So I was not intimidated by him. I was inspired by him. Or I was like thrilled that I had found that unbelievable gem that other women might have thought that he was a bit weird because he was so intense in his study, and intense in his training. Um, but to me, it was such an inspiration. So I cannot tell you if other guys were intimidated by me, but what I can say is that I was lucky to meet my perfect match, and he's really the one who grabbed my hand and pulled me up. He's the one who told me, hey, but I think within the first 2 years of our marriage, we already had, actually after a year and a half, we had already had two kids. So the first one was born, well, yeah, a year and a half, because the kids are 10 months apart. So the first one was born 9 months and 3 weeks after our wedding. And then 10, 11 months later, the second one was born. And then I had stopped working to take care of the kids. And Pierre came to me and said, hey, you know what? You're not getting your fair share out of this marriage here. So you go back to school if you want to. And in evening and during the day, I'll take care of the kids. So anyway, so just coming back, I was lucky with that. So were guys intimidated? I don't think so. Not the one I married.
All right, that's good. That's
Mhm.
good. All right, what are your hobbies? Like, can be non-professional or professional related.
My hobbies.
Yeah.
That's interesting. So professionally related. So that's when I was as an instructor, I always say that I'm paid to do Lego for adults. Lego, the little games where you put the
You
kids.
are
So to
paid.
me, well, as an instructor,
Oh,
that's how I felt.
figuratively.
Doing
Yeah.
networking,
Right.
you're
Like
putting pieces
troubleshooting.
together,
Yeah.
you're connecting exactly, oh,
Right.
this piece should go there. So I always felt that I was doing Lego for adults, actually.
Right.
And the troubleshooting to this day, I love. And it's true at our house, actually, we have, at our other house, we have 24 audio zones, and we have distributed video, distributed audio. I just love troubleshooting that stuff. I installed a new security system and networking. We have fibers to the house. I just love
So you
troubleshooting.
enjoy all of this technical stuff,
Exactly. So
even
that's kind of my
non-Cisco,
hobby,
even non-security related. It's just this is what you love to do.
just tinkering around.
Right.
So
Right.
that's my hobby. And, we're supposed to share our gifts. So my faith tells me that I'm supposed to share my gift. I'm Catholic, so actually you're from Philippines, so you know about that. Though I'm not a big practicing Catholic, but it's my moral compass in my life, and we're supposed to share our gifts. And the way I share my gifts now is I take care actually of two religious communities of nuns
Hmm.
and I take care of their computers. So I visit their monastery, and there's 65 nuns that I take care of their tablet, their iPhone, their Android phone, Android tablet, all their PCs, no Mac, thank goodness. But I'm the one who takes care. And I've been, so when I'm not locally here to help them, I've installed a team viewer. So I get in, and there's two nuns who are very technical also. They like that. So I spend quite a bit of time every week actually just fixing other people computers or network printer or whatever. Um, and then personally, Pierre and I, we still do a lot of sports. So we spend our summer months, the warmer months in Toronto, and we cycle a lot. And mid-November to mid-April, you'll find us here in Quebec City. It's -12 outside right now, -12 Celsius, because we're winter sports maniac.
Yeah,
So
it's
if
heat.
I can easily do 2, 3, 4 hours of sports a day if the weather is good and depending the sports I'm doing. We're also big scuba divers, so we do scuba diving around the world, and we have 2 dogs, 1 cat, and those are basically our hobbies. And talking about the causes dear to my heart is actually STEM. And STEM stands for women in STEM. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, and math. And so I'm really happy that you give me the chance to tell my story here, because we have to do something to encourage more women to enjoy more STEM. Now, interestingly, in science, 2 areas of sciences where we have more women is actually biology and also chemistry. So biology, there's a higher percentage of women who choose those fields. So that's why, especially in North America, maybe the same in Philippines, but we have many universities where we even have more ladies than men going in medicine.
Really?
And also, yeah. So we are over 50% now in Canada of med school. Our med school students are being women. So anything that has biology in it, microbiology, and also chemistry a little bit more. If you look the engineering field, so first, there's not that many women in engineering, but if you look at the field of engineering, the one that has the most women is chemistry. Chemical engineering. The one that has the least amount of women is actually mining engineering. And just before mining engineering, you have mechanical engineering, where
Mechanical.
you don't
Yeah,
have many women.
right.
The second highest that we find in engineering where we see women would be civil engineer. That's what my daughter is our daughter is a civil engineer. But nevertheless, they were only, I think she told me, about 12% of women in her class. So whatever we can do, you, myself, to help young ladies. I'm helping actually a school here in Quebec City. I want to install actually a brand new labs. I did that at my sister's, my daughter's school, install a new physics labs. My husband and I contributed for that. Just whatever we can do to encourage the girls and tell them how cool it is to be good in math, physics, chemistry, and science. And there's so many jobs in sciences and technology.